Welcome back to Gong Sport. Thanks for joining us for our second Gong Sport ep of since we began this pod. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. We're updating you with everything sport in the Illawarra. If you listened last week, thank you. If you're listening again this week, thanks times two. So we're going to get straight into it. A quick reminder as well, if you haven't listened to our first four eps already, please do. We've got chats with Super 2 driver Cody Gillis, Hawks GM Joe Terzakian, and Matty Russell, NBL and NRL commentator as well. And of course, we got our little Gong Sport chat from last week. But let's get straight into it this week. So again, follow us on Insta, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Hit that subscribe button. Please give us a like and a comment as possible as well. Get involved with us. The more you get involved, the bigger this thing grows. And the more we can sort of build our own little local community as well. I know it's very small to start with, but we can grow it as quickly as we can. So reminder, this pod here is chatting everything's Gong, Illawarra and beyond as well. Now I've got a question. So I was a romantic over the weekend and took my lovely partner to the Gold Coast. One thing Queensland does incredibly, turning their surf clubs into like establishments, just surf lifesaving clubs, turning into establishments. Amazing meals, I must say, but just a place where you can go have a drink, dinner, or anything. Why can't we have that here? Is there regulations as to why we can't? I would love to know. Please let me know. But in terms of that, yeah, that was sort of my takeaway from the Gold Coast from the weekend, not the beaches or anything. Why are the surf lifesaving clubs so much better up there? But anyway, so our little Gong news thing, what's doing locally? So a quick little update. We brush over it quickly, just sort of keeping you updated. You may have missed something that happened locally over the last week. So pretty much we got a rate cut on Tuesday. So that's for the people who have the mortgages. So they cut it by 0.25%, so 25 basis points. So it's a start, but for those who have the mortgages, you get a little reprieve, which is well needed. Just keep an eye out on the train timetable as well. We recorded Tuesday. It could change by Wednesday, but keep an eye if you're traveling by train because there is still industrial action going on. So just keep an eye on that. And right, a fire at Dapto Leagues Club on Sunday. So pretty much it was about 6:15, I think it was. This fire was just a car underneath this concrete, like the building's there, the car's in the underneath car park, in the open, but underneath, like sheltered. And it just caught on fire. Police reckon it's suspicious, but it shut down their kids' play centre, I think Tapatinka it's called, and messed up their plumbing. Now, what I'm interested in was anyone in the bathrooms at the time of that incident? Because if it's burned the plumbing, yeah. Interesting little moment there if you're on the throne. Right. City Diggers has shut down as they do up a development at Globe Lane. So City Diggers obviously across the road from the old cinema, which closed down a few years ago in Wollongong Centre. Now Diggers is part of a big building that's going to reopen in a new form. They're expecting in 2027 it's going to have like a new development apartments and do up everything there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens once that opens. But yeah, for now, City Diggers is closed. Another one which I completely missed because I wasn't here, but the Prime Minister came to Lake Illawarra and got heckled by a couple of anti-wind farm locals. I think they were locals anyway. A couple of anti-wind farmers heckled the Prime Minister as he was like doing his own little pre-election campaign thing. And last but not least, Yours and Ours is on in 2 weeks. And why this is my last one is because it's at a different venue this year. It's on Flagstaff Hill. So it's actually at the top, surrounded by the sea. So I think there's still some tickets left as well. So if you haven't yet, yeah, be sure to go along. Right. New segment this week. So as I was sitting beachside Thursday, I came up, my brain was going, came up with a little idea to do top 5 Gong. So what's top 5 Gong? Basically, I pick a topic and I ask you, list the top 5 things in that topic. So for example, this week, so I went to the Gold Coast, obviously, really nice ice creameries up there. Now I want to know, what are the top ice creameries in the Illawarra? My top pick is the Cow Moon. That's my number one. But from what I've heard as well, I'm going to shout out to Around the Gong on TikTok as well, who put down Miller's Local Bakehouse as one. I haven't been there yet, so if anyone's been to Miller's, let me know because I might have to make the trip up there. But tell me your other ones. What are your top ice creameries in the Gong for this week? Okay, so let's get straight on to sport. Now, another hot segment, a new segment, I'm just coming up with them all this week, is Hot Take of the Week. So we put it out there on our Insta. And if you want to get involved, you can get involved anonymously. You can send in a message. You don't have to have your name read out. Like, for example, there's 2 hot takes here. I'm not reading out their names just because I don't want anyone backfiring on them, pretty much. But you can do it anonymously, whatever you want. Just get involved. The more you get involved, the better this show ends up. So, first hot take of the week. And it's interesting because it comes straight from the Dragons game. This hot take from one of the listeners, Matt Feeney, to lock down the wing spot for the Dragons this year. So I'm going to run you through Matt Feeney's stats from the game against the Roosters. So 9 runs for 83 metres, 17 post-contact metres, 1 line break, 4 tackle breaks. Average play the ball speed was the 3rd quickest in the team at just over 3 seconds. 7 tackles made, none missed as well. Now, Tyrell Sloan was out with, I believe, a stress fracture. So I'm pretty sure Clint Gutherson's gone on the record saying he will be in the side somewhere. So, and he's obviously not taking the fullback spot from Gutherson. So you'd think he may be on the wing, but who else has he competed with? Ravalawa, missing someone completely obvious there. Finau was on the other wing on the weekend. So got some competition, but that's the hot take from our first listener, Matt Feeney, to lock down the Dragons wing spot this year. The second one is a football soccer one. This hot take from one of our listeners named Will. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say last name or anything. Listener Will says the Illawarra Premier League is one of, if not the best district leagues in the country. In terms of local district leagues, I mean, it's kind of hard to disagree. I mean, you think about it, how many other local teams, or local leagues rather, have made the last 32 of the Australia Cup? I know Wollongong United did it. I think it was about 3 years ago or something like that now. But I don't know if any other local, like, I'm not talking like Newcastle NPL. I'm talking like local district leagues. I don't think any have, but yeah. So that's their take. Illawarra Premier League is one of, if not the best district leagues in the country. I probably have to agree. I can't think of any other ones outside of the NPLs. I mean, it's been sort of widely accepted that outside of the NPL, the next one down is the IPL, which kicks off in a few weeks as well. So keep an eye out for that. We'll try to get someone on to have a little chat about that. Right. Rugby League. So Dragons, big win over the Roosters, 26-8 on Sunday. So we're running you through this. So it's 26-8. Kyle Flanagan on the score sheet. He had a big game, handed 3 tries, I think it was. Damien Cook got his first try. Sione Finau in the 27th minute. Cade Reid and Michaeli Ravalawa, another wing spot contender. And the Roosters scored 2 tries, Dom Young and Tyrese Tate. Tyrese with 2 E's in the Reese as well. And Valentine Holmes, 3 conversions out of 5. The Chooks didn't convert anything. Right, so halftime was 18-4. I'm just going to run through the team stats. So Chooks had more possession, actually, 52% of the ball to the Dragons, 48. More time in possession, 28 and 29 minutes pretty much to the Dragons, 27. So the Dragons scored all those points with less of the ball as well. Completion rate, Chooks actually completed more, 33 out of 39. The Dragons, 32 out of 42. So obviously they had more sets, but still completed less as well. So in terms of runs, though, so the Dragons made 10 more runs. Run meters, the Dragons had about 250 more run meters, which big difference. Post-contact, 80 meters more. Dragons had 5 line breaks to 2. Basically, the Dragons won every team stat. So tackle breaks, they made 37. Chooks made 23. Set distance, the Dragons made 42.5. Chooks just under 40, and kick return meters, Dragons 177 to the Chooks 84. Huge difference. Play of the ball speed, pretty similar, 3.53 seconds for the Dragons, 3.65 for the Chooks. But in terms of kicking meters, the Chooks actually kicked for about 160 more kicking meters as well, which is interesting. But kick defusals were 64%. A lot more bombs there as well. So more effective tackles from the Dragons as well. So Dragons fans, how happy are you with that? Is it a good start? Are you happy? Yes, no, let me know. But one story that I really want to highlight from the Dragons this week, the feel-good story, because we never thought he'd play again. Cody Ramsey. So he made his rugby league return on Saturday on his 25th birthday of all days as well, on 15th of Feb. First time he took to the field at Sydney's Henson Park in the New South Wales Cup, this was, for a trial game, I believe it was. He stepped onto the field for the first time in 895 days. So obviously he was diagnosed with illness in 2022. So he underwent, I think, like 10 surgeries or maybe even more, or something ridiculous like that. But he had ulcerative colitis, I believe is the term. But yeah, there was heaps of photos and videos came out about this. But Cody Ramsey, like, there was a chance that his life was under threat, I think, as well. So yeah, little feel good story for you. So Ramsey, yeah, 2.5, nearly 3 years out, and he makes his return to the field. So well done to him. Right, Steelers Juniors. We're going to touch on some Steelers Juniors right now. The Illawarra Steelers recorded 1 win out of 4 games on the road this weekend. So a tough weekend. The Harold Matts under-17s boys, the only squad to get a win in round 3. Entertaining match in Canberra. Both teams scored 5 tries. But Taylor Humphries, his conversions, 3 conversions to the host 2, made sure they got the win. Now in Hammondville, the under-17 girls were defeated 42-4 by last year's champs, the Bulldogs. So disappointing for the under-17s. The under-19s came very close to winning after trading 18-0 at halftime. They fought back in the second half to score 4 tries to the Bulldogs. Won, but they lost the match 20-20. And in the 19s men, the Steelers lost 34-20 to the Raiders, despite a strong hand from Charlie Hedke. I apologise if I got that wrong. He scored 2 tries as well. So they trailed very early in that one. So disappointing weekend for the Steelers, but move forward. I think they had a good start against Melbourne. It might have been a couple of weeks ago. Right, so I'm only going to touch on this quickly because it's obviously a legal matter. So Junior Ramon pleaded guilty at the 11th hour to spitting on a woman's face at a Illawarra night spot a couple of years ago. So he changed his plea to guilty to 1 count of common assault on the day he was set to defend the matter. He was arrested over it in August last year, so it all happened. But yeah, that's pretty much the update from there. Right, Illawarra Hawks. So they haven't played since the last time I spoke. So why am I talking about it now? Well, they now know who they're playing and when they're playing next week. They're taking on Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Now, the Phoenix lost to Perth in the first qualifying final, I think it was, qualifying play-in. So they lost that, which meant they played the winner of Adelaide and Sydney. Adelaide beat Sydney, which was hilarious. And then Southeast Melbourne was like 21 points down at one point. They came back and won the game, which was insane. But we take on, Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. So game 1 at home, 7:30pm Friday, the 28th of Feb. So that's next Friday. Game 2's away Sunday, March 2nd, 2:30pm. That is away. And if we need it, if we lose one of those games, game 3, if needed at home, is 7:30pm Wednesday, March the 5th. So the question that's basically come from all of this is this break too long? Because by the time they play Southeast Melbourne next Friday, it's been 2 weeks since the Hawks took to the court. And the reason why it's been 3 weeks is because obviously the play-in's done now, but they've got an international break in there as well. So I wanted to know, is this break a bit too long? Could it have been done better? How could it have been done better? Let me know. But they're going to play a best-of-3 game series against Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. From there, hopefully we get that job done. We've actually lost twice to them this year, so they've been one of our bogey teams, so we're looking to turn that around pretty much. But yeah, so those are the 3 games, and yeah, tickets are on sale pretty much just about now by the time this one comes out. But one thing I want to talk about as well is contracts. So Sam Froling has probably been the most publicised one as to whether he's going to re-sign or not. He said he's waiting until the end of the season to do that. Fair enough. But from what people are saying, they're pretty confident he's gonna hang around. So I'm just going to list through an article from the Herald Sun, who had a list of all players in the NBL in terms of their contract situation. So the following players are off contract for the Hawks at the end of this season: Sam Froling, Dan Greeder, Mason Peatling, Todd Blanchfield, Trey Kell, Darius Days, Kwani, and Brad Ballinger. Club options. So the club has an option to extend Luca Yates and Zach Triplett. And the contracted, so the ones who are locked in: Will Davo Hickey locked in until 2027. Tyler Harvey's locked in until 2027 with a club option. Wani Swakala Bullock locked in 2027 with a club option. And Lockie Olbrich, Hung Jong Lee locked in until 2026. So I believe it's next season, of course. And Kobe McDowell White, development player, 2027 club option. So those are the players, basically. Free agents. So out of those free agents, who is the priority? Who should we be focusing on keeping? Let me know. But it brings me to my next little point. And Dan Greeder's gone on the record to say he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay here forever. And after the last year, can you blame him? So he's actually from Perth, which I didn't realise, but he has been a Hawk since 2018. The word, I want to play here forever. So whether it happens or not, we shall see. But I think it's safe to say if Greeder gets offered a contract, he's signing it. Right, so we're going to stick with basketball, but with a little different kind rather. And Illawarra Roller Hawks icon, a Paralympic champion, has retired. So 2-time Paralympian, 6-time wheelchair basketball champ Nick Taylor has announced his retirement from wheelchair basketball after 19 years. So well done to him. He's South African born, actually. Sorry, not Illawarra Roller Hawks, Wollongong Roller Hawks. But he relocated to Australia at 25 after he was born in South Africa and joined the Roller Hawks in 2005. So for context, I was 5 in 2005. That's how long he's been going. But yeah, it's a good story, actually. He wasn't enjoying Johannesburg, wrote to every Australian national wheelchair basketball team to see where anyone was interested in him coming over, and the Roller Hawks said yep. And now 20 years later, he's 45, saying goodbye, but he's still going to be involved in the club as the wheelchair basketball community continues to grow. He says there's still a lot of work to be done as well, so good to see he's still hanging around, but well done to Nick Taylor for his career there. Right, football. Now, I want to start football with something that isn't local, but I'm going to make it local. So for those who haven't been paying attention to Australian football, this story's probably been the biggest one of the week. So Valerie Germain rage quitted the A-League because of refs. So when I say that, I mean he literally asked for a release and cited refereeing as a reason as to why he wanted to leave. So I want to know, what's the biggest rage quit in local sport you have ever seen? I'm probably responsible for a few of those, but come on. Surely there's a few people in the local area here who have had a rage quit and said, nah, I'm done because of a coach or something like that, or I don't know, administrator. But let me know, what's the biggest rage quit in local Illawarra sport you've ever seen? Right. So actually local now. So the Wollongong Wolves have had quite an interesting past week or so. So they kicked off at Wynn Stadium against St George City last Friday night. Got half an hour in. Nicholas Olsen gave them the lead, scored the opener. They're up 1-0, but it had to be abandoned in the 30th or 31st minute because of lightning. So they had to reschedule it pretty much. So they have rescheduled it quickly. They're playing the game tonight, so Wednesday night at Macedonia Park in Berkeley, which is where Wollongong United play in the IPL. And it kicks off at 7:45. But the uniqueness of it is they're restarting it from the 31st minute. So they're up 1-0, and it has to be exactly the same team sheet and circumstances. Nothing can be changed from last Friday night to Wednesday, unless obviously if someone got injured or training or something on Monday, which I highly doubt. But Nicholas Olsen, so he scored the opener, and he actually had a chat with Agron Latifi from the Mercury, and he said he reckons the Wolves will be an Australian football powerhouse again. So he scored 2 goals so far this year. So Wolves have scored 4 at the time of recording. He's scored half of them. But yeah, he's been everywhere. He's been to a heap of countries. I think he played the Maldives or something as well. But yeah, so he's 29. Started his football journey at the Southo Sharks in 2012. Played for 13 clubs since. He's been at Apia, Sydney United, Sutherland Sharks. He's also played in Kuwait. He's played quite a few spots. But he was back in Victoria last year. Now he's here in the Gong. So he's gone on the record saying he reckons the Wolves will be a powerhouse again, which gets me into my next point. So the National Second Division, they finally announced it as the Australian Championship. So it's finally been named. Gets underway later this year after the NPL season. But it's kind of like the old Champions League format in that there's like little group things and then they go into a playoff scene. So it's kind of like a postseason tournament in a way, but it is up and running. So my question is though, and this comes from a place of love, is it going to work? So A-League clubs at the moment struggle financially. The A-League in general struggles financially at the moment. So how is the second division below it with semi-professional clubs at the moment going to be financially viable? I want it to work. The promotion and relegation will be the best thing that's ever happened. But financially, I don't know how. I want your opinions on that. How is this National Second Division going to work and will it be viable? But anyway, I want it to work, but at the moment, I can't see how. I'm happy to be proven wrong, though. We'll see how we go. Right, so the other team, South Coast Flame, they lost 3-2 to Bankstown United at home. So conceded an early own goal. I think it was in like the 4th minute. But then they scored 2 goals in 2 minutes late in or midway through the first half to be up 2-1. Pardon me, just whacking my mic there. And then Bankstown hit 2 more of their own at Kembla Grange. They won that one 3-2. Right, motorsports. So first round of the V8 Supercars gets underway this weekend, which means it's also the Dunlop Super 2 Series first round as well. So why is that important locally? Well, we've got 2 drivers from the South Coast actually racing this weekend. So first one, our mate, Cody Gillis, back on with Brad Jones Racing. He's going for another year in the category. By the way, we broke the story that he was re-signing with Brad Jones before it actually came out a couple of weeks. So, scoop. Anyway, the other one, though, who some may not know or may know, I don't know, Bailey Sweeney. So he's racing for a Blanchard Racing Team. He had to sit the whole year out pretty much last year because of finances. So he's a South Coast boy. I believe he's from around Big or Bateman's Bay. But yeah, I've heard reports saying that he's been looking super fast as well. So keep an eye on Bailey Sweeney in the Super 2. But you can catch those boys across Friday to Sunday. Right, final story before we call it a day. It's going to be hockey. So Blake Govers, one of the Wollongong juniors, and a well-known goal scorer. He's been named in the 18-man squad for Australia's next FIH Pro League stage in Argentina following his India Hockey League campaign. So he's 28. He has the most caps of any player at 167 and 154 goals to his name. So, yeah, decent return, but he's been selected for that. And their campaign gets underway on February 22nd. So this Saturday, they actually take on Argentina, who are the hosts. So that'll be where they kick off. But that is the Gong Pod for this week. So, again, if you want to be involved, please interact with our socials as much as we can. We want to grow this platform. And please get involved as well. Send us voice memos on memo.fm. It's on our link in Instagram. Please get involved, comment or anything like that. Give us a like and send us DMs as well. Whatever you want us to talk about on the pod, we'll talk about it. But thanks for joining us. See you next week.